Hello! Today we'll walk you through how to create your own custom date table in Power BI. When working with time series data, a date table is essential, but there are some tricky points that can cause you to stumble. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of how to use date tables for your data analysis. Let's get started. Here's a quick overview of what we'll cover in this video. Why you need a date table. Understanding the importance of a date table in Power BI. Creating a date table. How to create a dynamic date table using DAX. Custom sorting. Fixing the sorting issue with months and other time fields. Handling periods with no data. Dealing with gaps in data and ensuring proper visualization. Let's dive into each topic in more detail. Why you need a date table. First, let's talk about why a date table is necessary. When analyzing sales or performance data over time in Power BI, you might encounter issues if you don't use a date table. For example, you might face these problems. Sales data dates are scattered, making it hard to represent a continuous time axis. Filters or slicers don't work properly with time series data. It's difficult to easily aggregate by week, month, quarter, or year. Time intelligence functions, like YTD or moving average, don't work correctly. By creating a custom date table, you can sort and analyze your data more effectively, creating a date table. Now, let's create a date table in Power BI. First, create a new table by entering the DAX formula. To do this, go to the Table view, click on the New Table tab at the top, and paste the DAX formula from the description into the formula bar. A general-purpose date table based on today's date. We'll use a DAX function that can handle any time series analysis. This method generates dynamic data for the past 3 years and the next 3 years, based on today's date. Here's the DAX formula. You can easily generate past and future data based on the current date using this DAX code. Let's go through the code step by step. What is VAR? In DAX, VAR using variables in DAX has several benefits. Improves performance by reducing repetitive calculations, enhances readability by making the code easier to understand, stores temporary values to help organize complex logic. Variables defined with VAR must be declared before return and can be used after it. If you write, then example VAR is 10, so the result will be 20. In the current code, we also use VAR to define the date range and adjust for each world time. Next, I will explain the world time represented by UTC today. What is UTC? Coordinated Universal Time, UTC, is the global standard for time. Each country or region has a time difference. Offset, based on UTC, expressed as UTC plus X hours or UTC minus X hours. For example, Japan, JST, is UTC plus 9 hours ahead of the world standard time. New York, EST, is UTC minus 5 hours behind the world standard time. How to read the table. This table considers the standard time, UTC offset, for each country. Countries that use daylight saving time, DST, have different UTC offsets depending on the season. For example, the US, UK. Some countries like India, IST, have 30-minute time offsets instead of whole hours. By using UTC as a reference, you can accurately handle time differences in data processing. What is DAX function add columns? Add columns is a DAX, data analysis expressions, function that allows you to add new columns to an existing table. It is commonly used in Power BI and Excel Power Pivot. First, let's take a look at the basic syntax of add columns. This function requires 3 main inputs. Table, the original table you're working with. Column name, the name of the new column. Expression, a formula that calculates the values for each row. Let's say we have a sales table, and we want to add a new column for sales tax 10%. Here's how we do it. This formula adds a new column named sales tax to the sales table. The value for each row is calculated as 10% of the sales amount. Now, let's summarize what makes add columns so useful. It doesn't modify the original table instead. It creates a new one. It can be combined with other DAX functions for more advanced transformations. It helps customize reports and organize data efficiently. By using add columns, you can make your reports more dynamic and insightful. What is the format function? Format converts numbers or dates into a specific text format. If you're familiar with Excel's text function, it's quite similar, but remember, format always returns text, so you can't use it directly for calculations. Here's the basic syntax. Value is the number or date you want to format. Format string is the format you want to apply. And locale is optional to set the language or region-specific format. This is a sample demonstration of how to use the format function in DAX. It shows various examples to make your data more readable and presentable in Power BI. Let's make your report stand out with well-formatted labels and values. Format is flexible and great for custom labels. It always returns text, not numbers. Use it carefully in large data sets to avoid slowing down your reports. If you need to sort text-based months like January, February, March, April, or text-based weekdays like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in the correct order, you will need to create a separate column for sorting purposes. Custom sorting. In Power BI, if you want to sort months as January, February, March, it can end up being unordered like April, August, December, because Power BI treats them as strings. This is actually where many Excel users get stuck when they start using Power BI. Why Power BI needs a separate sort column. Excel can automatically sort text like days of the week or months correctly, but Power BI treats them as strings and cannot sort them naturally. Power BI operates like a relational database, treating data as text, which prevents natural sorting. Excel stores serial values behind the scenes, allowing automatic sorting. In Power BI, you must create a separate column specifically for sorting and link it to your data. Step-by-step guide to creating a sort column. Once you learn this, creating time-based reports in Power BI becomes much easier. Take a look at the line chart in the report view. Months and weekdays are sorted alphabetically, so the order looks incorrect. Let's fix this. Go to Table View and select Table of Date. Click on the column month_ABR. At the top, under Column Tools, choose Sort by Column, then select month_number. Next, let's fix the weekdays. Select weekday_ABR, go to Sort by Column, and choose weekday_number_sort. This arranges the weekdays correctly from Monday to Sunday. Now the months are displayed from January to December in the correct order. And that's it! With just a few clicks, both months and weekdays are in the proper order. The key point is to use a numeric key column to sort your text labels. Next, let's handle periods with no data. If some years, months, or days have no sales, the visual may show gaps. We'll create a measure that replaces blanks with 0. In Sales Data, click New Measure. Paste this DAX. Use sales_total_0_point on your y-axis and put the table of date on the x-axis. This fills missing dates as 0 so your line stays continuous. Use the date table field on the x-axis, not a text column from sales data. For a timeline, set x-axis type =continuous. If you're using month-weekday labels, enable Show Items with no data for the axis field when available. That's it! With Coalesce, blanks become zeros, and every year, month, and day is represented. Give it a try in your own report.